to it. Back a few weeks ago, I did a video where I showed the unboxing of Dragon Ball Super Volume 1. And in there I mentioned the importance of buying physical media and things like that. And I hit on a few reasons, but I didn't hit on all the reasons. Sometimes on my channel, I won't just cover video games. I do try to cover anime. I do try to cover a couple of geeky, nerdy books. And every once in a while, I'll show off like a cool DVD, Blu-ray, or something like that. Just like a special edition of a physical media of this sort. This is the Blu-ray collection of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and you know, I've done the unboxing of the One Punch Man special edition as well. So I'm just going to go into a few reasons as to why I picked this up and why I think it's important for people to get physical media. Now, one of the things I did mention in my unboxing of Dragon Ball Super Volume 1 was the special features, and I think that was kind of misdirected on this specific Blu-ray disc, because the only two special features that were actually on it were some kind of two kind of somewhat cute things of both the characters, the voice actors of Piccolo, Vegeta, and the voice actor for Krillin explaining to their child Dragon Ball Z to catch them up on Dragon Ball Super, and just trying to like, hey, we can bring new fans into the show without watching Z. I think that was kind of what they were going for on it, and I kind of miss the regular special features that they have on it and more of the behind the scenes. So I did mention on that. So one of the main things is behind the scenes features. So on their two previous movies, Battle of Gods and Resurrection F, they had amazing special features and behind the scenes. You get to see them doing the dub, watching the movie originally, getting into the characters, all that type of thing. And if you're a big fan of the show, that's stuff you're going to want to watch. So they did a great job of documenting all that, showing the China Theater debut of the Japanese dub, the original dub, and having all the fan reactions, showing the interactions between the cast members and fans, some cool Dragon Ball Z games and stuff like that that they played with the cast. They packed these, and also they did makings of on these two and some interviews. So they packed these two with tons and tons of special features and behind the scenes footage. Another reason is some of them are just cool. I mean, you know, this is the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan version. Obviously, they haven't named it Super Saiyan Blue yet, so I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but in here, it looks all blue, but you can actually see it says Resurrection F on there, Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan Edition. You can kind of see it. It's cool. You open it up, you have your DVD of the movie, you have your Blu-ray of the movie with the extra features. And inside you get these awesome, let me turn that around for you. You get these awesome, just cool inserts, and I love that. If you want a digital copy of the movie, here you go, giveaway. There you go. I don't use these ultraviolet, whatever. If you want the code, you can have the code. They threw in a little advertising for their DS game, which is a pretty cool fighting game. And you get these awesome kind of propaganda posters to join the Frieza Force. And it's just, the art on it's amazing. It's slightly holographic, and it's just a little extra something that's extra cool and awesome. And any super fan would love to have this. I looked into getting these framed. It's really hard to find a frame that frames up 4 pictures of something this size. So one of these days, but for right now I'm keeping it nice and safe inside the special edition. So you get these cool grab-ons and feelies and things like that in these special editions, and just the art and the shelf piece, it's a much more thing. It's a conversation piece if you're gonna have this in your house, because you don't want to just have that case that's just filled with Blu-rays and no one ever wants to look at it and they're all just stuffed there. You want to take these out, you want to use them, you want to play with them, things like that. And maybe you wouldn't be playing with them, but just having the experience of opening it, kind of like you would a record. Same thing with the Battle of Gods. This one's not quite as a special edition, but there you go. You have your disc. Nothing crazy on there. On to the next thing that I do want to mention is that there's some footage on these movies that you probably wouldn't see before. This Minions Blu-ray has 3 of the mini movies on it, and they're actually really cool. Kills off an extra 15 minutes. It's something you want to watch after the movie's done. Whenever I do viewings of this, I always watch the mini movies also, and you get bloopers and extras and things like that on here that is just a good value. One other thing I like is that it's multi-format, so you can bring it anywhere. If there isn't a Blu-ray, you can use it on a DVD player. You usually have one of those around. That is one advantage to streaming, though, is you can bring it anywhere. For the most part, if you have a phone, you can stream. But one of the great things, though, is permanent ownership. So I want to bring these up. So this is a trio of movies that aren't on Netflix, and if they were at one point, they aren't anymore. That's the Hangover trilogy. These are great movies just to play when you hang out with people, you want something playing in the background. These are just great movies. Everyone loves them. Third one, some people are slightly not the biggest fan of it, but whatever, that's fine. But these have the best bloopers and things like that, and gag reels, and you just want that in your movie. And I'm really harping on the same point, but these are kind of just cool. Just throwing another special edition at you. The Hobbit Trilogy extended editions. So you're getting extra content that you didn't get in the theater. And these are the ones that, even if they were on a streaming service, they wouldn't be putting the extending editions on. They'd be putting the theatrical releases on, because these are long. No one's going to want to put that on their servers to stream and things, stuff like that. So you have to do it yourself. And you get this awesome, cool little case. And it just looks classy and stuff like that. I don't know. I love the especially the Lord of the Rings special editions. They are amazing, and that's basically it as far as things I want to talk about on special editions. One other thing I did want to mention about the Hangover movies is that Netflix is constantly removing content from its website. It's a revolving door. Stuff's always coming in. Stuff's always going out. So it's not like a permanent, like, oh, well, that's on Netflix. You can just watch that on from Netflix. Not forever. Their licensing deals run out, things like that. And if you're a really, really big fan of the stuff, you should own it. You're actually supporting it. They will make more of it in the future if you support your things, especially if you're a fan of anime and any sort of animation. Always buying it and supporting it directly is going to lead to further making of that content. So you always want to support anything that you're a big fan of. So always get physical for that reason as well. Because streaming views doesn't do too much for them. They're like, oh, well, it does good on Netflix. It's like, well, we don't really care too much. Another thing I do want to mention, I'm just going to show the 2 Force Awakens special editions that I have. This is the Target exclusive. This is the Steelbook from Best Buy. While I'm just going through them, is that the streaming space is tightening up. Disney has announced that they do want to make their own streaming service. So obviously, if you want, here you go, here's the code if you want the movie. Obviously, if you want that content, maybe they'll be taking away the Star Wars content from Netflix. Maybe they'll be taking away the Marvel movies. I have Guardians of the Galaxy right here. This won't be on Netflix anymore. I'm sure. Why would Netflix have their stuff on a competitor's service? Now, I'm not the biggest fan of this one because it's kind of just some cheesy cardboard thing and they charged extra for it. Ugh. Wasn't a fan of this special edition. Went out and bought this Steelbook instead. Awesome packaging. Here's another code if you want it. But yeah, awesome packaging, great special features, interviews with J.J. Abrams, commentaries, things like that. It's cool. And again, just to show you again, you might be losing your Marvel movies on Netflix. You might be losing your DC content because DC wants to start its own streaming service. Everyone's getting into the streaming service game right now. And, soon enough, the whole point of, oh, well, I'll just get Netflix and cut my cable bill, it's not going to be as viable as an option anymore. Netflix is starting to, you can see themselves, they're starting to enter the physical media space on their exclusive content, such as Clone Wars The Lost Missions, which is the last season of Star Wars The Clone Wars. And they have other exclusive like Daredevil, Punisher, things like that, which is a series they don't know the future of once Disney opens up its own streaming service. Netflix and Disney were very, very intertwined on production of small series, and now Disney might be pulling back on that. As well with the Fox acquisition, maybe they'll be pulling back their Fox content as well. Who knows? So Netflix and other streaming services are going to become more exclusive towards their branding, towards their things, and you know, are you going to want to be paying like $100 a month in different subscriptions? You know, I have a few. I do have Netflix still, but I only use it for their exclusive content now. I don't really use it for movies and TV shows like I used to, because it's just not as good and it's not there anymore. You know, for movies and stuff like that, maybe you want to go on Hulu. So you have to have a Netflix, you have to have a Hulu. Sooner you get Disney, you're going to have to get that DC one, because they have, what's that show? Titans. Not Teen Titans. Young Justice. Young Justice is coming out on that, and it's looking great. And another thing that I do want to mention, I know I was a little heavy on anime content, things like that, but that's what I like here. One Punch Man, I have the special edition of it, and I love it so much more. And I paid a lot of money for it because it came with the book, and it has all the art cards and things like that. It's just a cool little special edition. And when I was telling people about it, they were like, why would you get this? One Punch Man's on Netflix. Okay, well, first off, I want the books. The book is awesome. It's got character bios, things like that, and I already have the manga, but it's a different, kind of different pages on the manga. It's still glossy, so it's a nicer print. So I wanted this just because of the cool factor, but on top of that, this edition has the dub on it, the English dub. So if I want to watch the English dub, this is the only way, because yes, One Punch Man is on Netflix, but it has a inferior English subtitle on it. These have different English subtitles on it that are better, and the quality is better. That I found. I thought the quality was better, and you have the advantage of being able to watch Japanese and English dubs. That's what I do for my anime series. I usually watch the same episode twice, once in Japanese, once in English, just because I don't know, you get different feels from the show and things like that, and you kind of make your own little headcanon as someone who doesn't speak the native language of the show. You kind of make like your own little like headcanon as to how the series goes and things like that, and how you want to interpret things. And sometimes with shows like DB, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball, and even Super has changed a few things. They're kind of different shows with different characters. You know, Goku's a little bit more of a Superman in the English one, and he's a little less of a Superman in the Japanese one. So that's something to consider if you are a fan of foreign content, that you might be able to get better subtitle tracks and things like that on your Blu-ray disc. They just pack it on there because it's so easy to do. And that's going to bring me to one of my last advantages on... well, one thing I do want to preface with all of these things that I'm showing you right here is that there is one streaming service that you can have all of this on. And you can get it wherever you want, whenever you want, on almost any device. And that is Plex. You can rip your Blu-rays, get the movies off of there, get all the sub-tracks, all the dub tracks that you have on there. So you can watch your English, your Japanese, your Portuguese, whatever. Pile that on there, and you can watch all of your content whenever you want. And you can, that is a viable thing. But even then, I still like the Blu-ray a little bit more. It is more convenient to use Plex, though. I will admit, Plex is one service that I would recommend for people because it is so convenient and it's your content. So you get to watch it whenever you want. You don't have to worry about servers taking it down. You maintain it. You have to have a hard drive big enough to hold all these Blu-ray rips and all these DVD rips. But I think for the price that you're paying, for the longevity of the content that you want, I think that's a great way of preserving your physical copy while enjoying content that you repeatedly watch. You know, I've seen Dragon Ball Super a bunch. I've seen Dragon Ball Z a bunch. I've seen One Punch Man. I've seen Star Wars. I've seen the movies so many times. I don't mind watching a streamed version off of my home server. I think that that is totally fine. And I'm not saying every single time you watch the movie you have to use the physical edition, but you do have that extra content on there. And this is last thing. We're going to talk about rare movies. This is Star Wars The Ewok Adventures. It has Caravan of Courage and The Battle for Endor on it. It's a 2-disc set. Now, my brother has the real copy that we own, but this is just some knockoff version. I wouldn't recommend doing this, but I just did this for a shelf piece. My brother does have the real one, and you can't find this anywhere. That's why I bought this. If I found a real Caravan of Courage, oh my god, I'd jump on it in a second. If I found the Droids anime cartoon, I'd jump on it in a second. Some of these older series are getting really, really hard to find because they're not getting home releases, because either companies want to bury them or they don't like them as much and they don't think that they're going to sell. So they might get one home release on a Blu-ray back in mid-2000s, and that's it. So some things like this, you know, I'll go out and pick up if I'm at a Comic-Con. There's usually guys selling stuff like this. Now, I am going to get into some of the disadvantages of owning physical media, and I did hint on it while talking about my Plex server. This is my copy of Cloverfield. It is not my good copy of Cloverfield, though, because now I own 2 copies, because the Blu-ray is defective. I don't know what's wrong with it. Brand new, only viewed once, and it just, literally the last 3 minutes of the movie, it just glitches up, and it doesn't play, and it won't show me the movie. I don't know if you can resurface a Blu-ray. Definitely not as easy as you could a DVD or CD. So for this, I didn't know what else to do, but besides just buy another Cloverfield Blu-ray. I was months out from my warranty on Amazon, my buyer protection, so I couldn't go to Amazon and be like, hey, my Cloverfield's broken. So I kind of got snubbed on this. So yes, physical media can get damaged, and that's why I do recommend using a service like Plex, ripping your Blu-rays and putting them onto your computer to have backups of it, preserve it. Preservation is very, very important, and that's one of the advantages of streaming. So, but also another end of it is, what if all your digital copies go out? You want a backup of it because you want that permanent ownership of your media. You know, servers can take stuff down whenever they want. Even your digital copies, they can take it down. Netflix, iTunes, if you buy iTunes movie, iTunes can shut down, take away your movie if you don't have the file backed up. So that's something you got to watch out for. Digital hard drives and things like that can be corrupted. So if you own stuff on your hard drives, that can get messed up. You want to have a backup of it. This is a backup, and I would also recommend having it on 2 separate hard drives. But that's another conversation for server maintenance and things like that. And another disadvantage, and this is going to be one of the last things I show, is that physical media formats can become outdated. So these are my original Lord of the Rings Blu-rays when the movies were coming out, not Blu-rays, DVDs when the movies were coming out. And they're full screen, not widescreen. Because I had a full screen TV at the time, so yeah, I'd get the full screen version because I want the picture to show up more on my screen. That was my logic back then. But these were very, very nice, and one of my favorite things about these were they came with these catalogs on the inside where you can order swords and props and things like that from the movies. And even these had tons of special features, and actually I haven't taken the time out to check to make sure that the special features that are on this are also on my Blu-ray extended editions. So, you know, once I have the time, I'll go and check it out and see if there's extra stuff on there. And if there's extra stuff, I'll probably rip it off and put it onto my Plex server so I can watch it later. But these are nicer because they have more content. They're extended. They're about like 4 hours long each. Some of them 5, I believe. But there's a much more full viewing experience. You know, watching these 2 movies back to back, they're almost different movies, and that's the advantages of having these extended editions with all of their extra content and things like that, and these super cuts, these director cuts, and all the special features on it. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, look at this. I have the Blu-rays, the DVDs, and it's just a lot. This movie actually gets broken up into 2 different movies. My apologies. So yes, formats do get outdated, and this might even get outdated with the 4K release of Ultra HD version. I don't know if it's out yet. I don't believe it is, but I'm sure one's coming. So that is another thing, and it's going to roll into it. It's expensive to own physical. Sometimes it's cheaper just to have a Netflix subscription. If you're just going to have one, $10 a month. That's it. You have all the content that you want. There might not be everything, but you know, you can always find another way to rent or use Amazon Prime, rent it on your cable box, something like that. If you're not going to, you know, if it's something you're just going to watch once and be like, I'm not going to watch it again. You know, I would recommend buying stuff that you're going to rewatch. Things that you're going to go back to. Things that you want loved ones to watch. And you want to be like, hey, borrow this Blu-ray. It's great. Watch this movie. That's kind of the advantages of this. You know, it's not like, oh, here's my Netflix password. Watch this movie. Or no one's going to do that. If you go out of the way and be like, here, take this, watch this. People are going to do that. I know there's definitely maybe some other arguments to be made for streaming. I don't know. I mean, they had a quicker acceptance of 4K content, but it's still not super prevalent on there. That's about it. And, you know, physical media is becoming a dying format. I think it's going the way of the dodo, and I honestly believe that these nice Blu-ray collections and the 4K Blu-rays that are coming out, I think they're going to go the way of vinyl. I think you'll see them go away for a few years, maybe 10 years, and then someone's going to come out with another, either with a different format, or people are going to start watching physical movies again. I definitely think that's what's going to happen, because you'll see it now. People notice that the quality started going down on their music. It wasn't sounding as good. The compression was just too much that they used, and people were just like, this isn't the viewing experience that I like. And you know what? People started picking up record players, getting old hardware and playing it, man. Because that's what they wanted to hear. And I think that's definitely going to happen with movies. I don't know how long it's going to be till physical media goes away. But people have these huge media displays in home theaters and stuff like that. I just don't see them wanting to fully accept streaming. It's not as instant or as gratifying as just popping in your disc and watching your movie, or even putting in a cassette. So I'd like to say thank you guys for watching. If you agree with me, please comment down below. If you disagree, I would like to start a discussion. Why don't you agree with me on this? Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye. So one thing I forgot to mention, which is another disadvantage to having a physical media collection. Actually, it's a disadvantage and an advantage depending on if you like the aesthetic of it. It takes up a lot of space. That's one of the points I had written down. I didn't mention it, but it does take up quite a bit of space, so I would save it for things that you're very, very interested in, and not things that you're kind of just like, that was okay. Like I said, support the things that you like. If there's a movie series, movie franchise, TV show, you want to support it as much as you can, because it will further the creation of that type of content, whether it be of that series or very, very similar content, depending on whether or not the creator would like to continue making that. Anyway, so thank you guys for watching. If you like the video, please subscribe. Tell me what your thoughts are on physical media. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? I'd like to hear what you have to say, and there should be a couple of videos up here that you might like. Give them a click and watch them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.